when we hear the word compassion, we think about helping others and being this good, holy type person. I mean to have compassion for when we're not good people, when we're not moral, to not only have compassion for the person that causes offense to us, but to have compassion for the parts of ourselves that get offended and defensive in the first place, because it starts from within. So the parts of ourselves that are prideful deserve compassion. The parts of ourselves that are prideful to be met with compassion, to dissolve the pride, to not fight life or fight these parts of ourselves. The parts of ourselves that maybe weren't a good friend at one point, or that lashed out, caused big embarrassment, or did something that seems malicious even. But when we look at these things and we recognize that those actions were done from a place of fear, that they were done from a place of survival mode, that they're not true to who we are in nature, it gives freedom to ourselves and to others. By having that compassion for ourselves, it gives freedom because it allows the past to be let go. And then it also doesn't hold others to those standards of, you have to be this perfect moral person, and if you're not, you're bad, and put you in this box of, you did this once, or I've seen you do this in the past before, so this is your label now, this is who you are. Allowing people that people could change, that we don't hold them into these labels based upon things that they've done in the past, as we're learning, as they're learning. We're all evolving here. And if we held ourselves to something we did that was like not moral or something like that, then we are no doubt going to do that with the people around us. And we're putting ourselves in cages, and we're putting everybody in boxes and cages like this. So to open up some space and allow us to breathe and learn without such repercussions of condemning each other and ourselves in such ways that are it's not going to be conducive to growth. It's going to hold us into this space, and if we want to go from here to here, we have to feel like this. So we can't continue doing this over and over again. We have to vibrate up here, and to vibrate up here, we have to open our hearts, to open the doors of these cages. And so I just want to add that is like to say, to be compassionate. I'm not saying to be somebody that's helping the world and you're a good person, you're an angel. Yes, but also to have compassion for the demons in ourselves too, because they actually need it more. And when we mix that together, it feels so good as they melt together. And so yeah, that's basically, to be compassionate isn't angelic. It's not just for angels. To have compassion for the dirty parts of ourselves, the pride, the shame, to have compassion for these things that we've done. I'm thinking of the Linkin Park lyrics. Erase myself, forgive me, what? Yeah. So, compassion is an eraser, but I guess we don't have to erase. We're not trying to fight and push away. We're just giving love. It might change colors. I invite you to I'm scared to take off my mask, I guess. But I want to help, so I have to. If I really want to make a difference, I invite us to think about parts of ourselves that we feel shame. Imagine the past that you feel shame for. Imagine something you've done that you regret. Imagine something you've done that you regret, that you feel shameful for. Think about that. Close your eyes if you have to. Think about it. Feel it. What did you do? Remember what you did. I invite you to feel compassion. Feel the tightness in your body. Feel the strain. Maybe there's some pain in your body. And let's open our hearts to those spots. Send love. Let's open our hearts to those spots, to the tightness, and send compassion for the past, for the pain, suffering. Let's hold compassion for it. Let's hold compassion for the times that our voices come out wobbly or screechy. Let's hold compassion for the times that we make mistakes or mess up. We're human, we're learning. Let's hold compassion for any time that we feel not good enough or not valuable. let's hold compassion for that suffering within ourselves. Let's give love to it and acceptance and say, you are good enough. You were meant to be there. You're not a mistake. I thought you were giving me shame. I look at you now. You're part of the lesson. You're valuable. I love you. I don't understand fully why you were here, why I did the thing I did, why you did the thing you did. I don't see the full picture, but I have faith. I have compassion. I have compassion for that part of me that's still suffering and still feels it as if it's still here. Today at work, I make a mistake. I have compassion. I'm doing the best I can. I'm learning. And then when we meet somebody, they give us a dirty look for no reason. They cut us in line. They do something out of nowhere. I don't understand, but I can have compassion for this obvious suffering, because suffering looks like fear, anger, and sadness. It looks like someone that's afraid, so they do actions that come across as mean. They are scared or they're angry at something and they don't have compassion. They don't have that. So let's have compassion for them, the parts that they don't have for themselves, because they don't have any. And we can really make a big difference in this world by merely, it could be volunteering, it could be taking big actions, but we can also make big differences, all of us, in our daily lives by just simply meeting suffering with compassion, not mirroring it, but replacing it, transforming it. When we interact with people, others, they are parts of ourselves. To see others as ourselves, that tightness in our body, that we feel strain and pain and hold compassion for it. And that person is that pain too. We don't know what they've been through. We don't understand. We can respect one another with dignity as another human, and sure, we might say, oh, this human is a bad human, but why would we do that when it's separating, when we can make such a big difference by feeling love and compassion for when people meet us in ways that might make no sense and might seem mean, and just consider that we don't know what they've just been through. We don't know what they're going through, their lessons. They don't have that compassion. They're not feeling it right now. We can give it, and even if they don't seem like they've been transformed by it or anything immediately, we don't know the chain of events that occurs by us having compassion for one another, sending that energy out. We don't know if later that night in bed they feel a little bit better than they would have if we met them with fear back or anger back. Or we don't know if, they'll feel better later, or if they'll start to recognize, oh, I can have that for myself too. They had compassion for me. I can do that for myself too. Because we live by watching others. We learn by watching what others can do. So it's so powerful when we hold compassion for ourselves. Is the greatest teacher by leading by example. When you're scared, we do things that seem like poor decision making, or we do things that might seem mean or chaotic, and it's coming from this place of being afraid. And when we see others act that way, we have no compassion. When we see others do things that might seem horrible, but we don't know how afraid they are or what they've been through to lead them to that point. And it begins within ourselves to hold compassion, to replace scaring ourselves or being mean for just learning, for judging the learning experience. For judging the learning experience instead of listening, having that compassion that a teacher would with their student, that patience with ourselves, love, patience, and non-judgment. Learning is not something that should look like this or that. It's going to look however for each individual. And when we can respect the process of ourselves, our journeys, then we can look outwards and do the same for others. But we have to begin within ourselves and to look at the decisions we've made with compassion, to look at the actions we've done with compassion. And even if it seems like we've really made some big mistakes here and there, or have been horrible in this way or that way, to let go of the ego that wants to identify and to have compassion. To say it's okay. You don't have to base future decisions on past ones. However something might have been, or however we've been in the past, we don't have to carry that with us. We can let that go at any moment and be whoever holds compassion and patience and let go. And to have compassion for how that letting go process happens. Even if it's not all at once, that patience, that love of, it doesn't have to look this way. I don't need to force this. I don't need to rush it. Compassion can look like slowing down, breathing, giving ourselves space amidst the chaos, being still within, amongst the chaos around us. That's compassionate, that's protective. Compassion for the bully within us, the toxic mother that's being mean to us, and compassion for the part of us that has been judged and yelled at for so long and been afraid for so long. To have compassion for both the bully and the victim. And maybe also a good check-in within ourselves to incorporate this throughout our daily lives is to notice whenever we feel negative feelings or have negative thoughts about someone else, to recognize how it's a reflection of something that we're judging within ourselves. And then we can look at the world in a more compassionate way and use those as anchors to recognize, to learn how it's mirroring what's happening within ourselves, because it's not always easy to see what's going on deep inside. But once we recognize it's a reflection, we can use that to our advantage and say, oh, okay, now it's kind of clear, like, wow, I really had that thought about somebody. That's clearly indicating the part of myself, because they are me. And it really makes it kind of easier to pinpoint the spots where we need healing. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Compassion. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sending you guys compassion and love, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.